Hi there, welcome to Simplilearn's YouTube channel. Imagine hundreds and thousands of rows of complex data and very little time to extract insights. Scary, right? But what if I say that's the playground of data analysts and the game that they really love? Data analytics is the skill of turning raw data into clear, actionable insights that drive smarter decisions. In today's data driven world, businesses don't rely on guesswork, they rely on patterns, trends, and evidence hidden inside data. This tutorial is designed for beginners, breaking down complex analytic concepts into simple, practical ideas you can actually apply. That said, if these are the type of videos you'd like to watch, then hit that like and subscribe buttons along with the bell to get notified whenever we host. Also, just that you know, if you want to upskill yourself, master data science and data analytics skills to land in your dream job or grow in your career, then you must explore Simplilearn's cohort of various data science and data analytics programs. Simplilearn offers various master certifications and postgraduate programs along with collaboration with some of the world's leading universities like Purdue University, IIT Guwahati, and many more. Through our courses, you will gain knowledge and but-ready expertise in skills like Python, Tableau, Power BI, generative AI, and over a dozen others. That's not all. You also get the opportunity to work on multiple projects led by industry experts working in top-tier data and product companies. After completing these courses, thousands of learners have transitioned into a data science or data analytics role as a fresher or moved on to a higher paying job and profile. If you are passionate about making your career in this field, then make sure to check out the link in the pinned comment and description box below to find a data science and data analytics program that fits your experience and areas of interest. Now, without further delay, let's get started. In this video, we will get started with the fundamentals of Excel, SQL, Power BI, and Tableau. Now, let's get started with a small quiz. What is the main goal of data cleaning? Option A, increase the data size. Option B, remove errors and inconsistencies. Option C, encrypt the data. And the last option, archive the old data. Now, please do let us know your answers in the comment section below. And with that, let's get started. So now, let's get started with Excel. So here, you can see some rows and some columns. Let's understand from the basics of the rows and columns, and then we can understand the basic fundamentals on Excel, which we will be using on a day-to-day basis if you are proceeding with data analytics. Some of the basics are data validation, conditional formatting, data cleaning, pivot tables, lookups, aggregate functions, and also before we dive into analytics, we have an inbuilt analyze function in Excel. If you can see something on the right hand top corner of the home tab, you will find something called as analyze data. Don't look into this add-in. So this is one of the co-files that we have added in. But before that, you'll just have analyze data. So this is something from Microsoft, which can be considered as an AI analyzing tool. Once you provide this data tool with the data set that you have on your Excel worksheet, it will consider it as its input and it will just build some quick pivot tables for you, and it will be more like an interactive session where you can just ask some basic simple analytical questions to this analyze data tool and it will give you instant results. So now let's get started. So in Excel, if you are entering data, then this is the row and this is the column, and every column will have its own column header. So based on the column header, you will be writing some queries, pivot tables in the future. Now let's understand that fundamental. So now apart from that, you will be having home option. Here you'll be having all the font. Here you'll be having all that font settings, and here you'll be having alignment. And this section where you have the number group, this is really important. So here you will get to decide the data type of the data that you're having in. So most of the columns in your data set might be having date data type, it might be having salary data type, it might be having employee ID data type, right? So all these three or multiple will have a different dedicated data sets. Let's say if you're going to employ number, then you might be having a combination of alphanumeric, or you can have just number, right? So if it is alphanumeric, then you can go with character data type. If it is just number, then you'll have to go with a whole number. And if it comes to phone number, then it's definitely and purely a whole number, right? So you need to focus on that. You cannot just keep that phone number in text format, do you? Right? And apart from that, if you come into the date section, you might be having join date, you might be having the last working day, or etc. It can be anything, right? If it is related to date, then make sure that you are choosing the date format. right? And you might also have some other information. So the basic foundation on data types is make sure that you have the right data type for the right data. If you mess up, then it is going to be really having a tough. If you mess up, then trust me, in the analysis phase, you're going to have a tough time. So that's the reason you need to focus on data types first. Don't worry, we will go through that one step at a time. And when we cancel and close this section, you will have conditional formatting here, which we will be exploring down the line. So conditional formatting is something similar to data formatting. So let's say you have some student data set and you wanted to highlight, let's say if you have 10 students, it's really easy for you to identify which student has the passing marks and which student is flunked out, right? But in case if you have about 100 students or let's say 1,000 students, in that scenario, you might have a tough time to identify or point out the students with failed marks or the passing marks or, categorization into first class, second class, and, something like failed candidate. So in such scenarios, conditional formatting, which you can see in the Home tab in Style section, this particular option comes really handy. And apart from that, you have a basic foundation steps where you can insert a row, delete a row, or format. So you can do this on the go. And here you can see some aggregate functions, right? So you have some average count, mean, max. So we will be having this aggregate function in this particular tab. We already have some data set here. So we will be explaining that here. And apart from that, coming back to the data sheet. So here you have some insert options where you can insert the pivot table. So here we have a basic explanation for pivot table as well. So this is just the foundation step. So we will have this for a couple of minutes of discussion. Once we are good with this, we will dive into a sales data set, which has about 10 to 12,000 rows of data. And we will also understand Power Query, where we will combine the year-on-year data together into one consolidated spreadsheet and then continue with it. So there's a lot to learn in this. So stay tuned. Now, coming back to the insert option, here we have pivot table, recommended pivot tables. And if you are going with something like data visualization, then you also have charts here if you go through this. So we have line graph, we have bar graphs, maps, pivot charts, a lot of them. And here you have spark lines. And apart from that, here you have timeline filters and slicers. So we will be going through this timeline filters and slicers in the last phase where we will have the dashboard of the sales data that we have created. So what we will do is just analyze the sales data, create some pivot tables, then pivot charts, then consolidate all the pivot charts in one single dashboard, and we will have slices into it. And then we will filter. Let's say we wanted sales for a specific product or a specific brand. Then we will know what kind of leads are generated, what kind of conversions we have, how many number of orders we did get, and how many number of orders did we get, and how many number of customers we have. A lot of those things. So apart from that, if you go into draw, this is basic foundation. So here you will have some options to draw, or if you wanted to highlight something in your presentation when you're presenting your data or dashboard to your clients. And if you wanted to highlight something, then you can use these pen options to just, write something on the screen, something like that. And here you have page layout if you wanted to print your data set, or if you wanted to print your dashboard, then you'll go with page layout here. And you have the basic formulas that we already went through, which is aggregate functions. And rest, we have the data. This tab is also really important for us. Here you have the option of getting data onto your Excel dashboard or Excel workbook. Now, why get data is really important? Do I really need to use Excel to get data? Yes, because Excel happens to be that one Swiss knife still existing in every data analyst pocket, because this is one such friendly tool or one tool which helps you with all the requirements. You can start cleaning your data. You can make some important changes on your data. It's like a quick, handy tool for you. So Excel is still one of that very important tools that you need to have in your arsenal if you're going with the fight with data analytics. So here you can get data from a wide range of resources coming from Excel workbook. It can be a text CSV, it can be Excel, JSON, PDF, or a folder as well. And if you're having your data on some database, then you can also go with database as well. And don't worry, speaking of databases, we will also export our final sales data onto SQL and
specifically MySQL Workbench, and we will also perform some data analytics using the MySQL platform as well. And if you're working with cloud storage like Azure, you can also connect that from Azure to your Excel platform and Power platforms as well. And apart from that, you have other resources like ODBC, web, etc. You can also do some web scraping and load the data from your websites to your platform as well. Now, you can also directly launch your Power Query from here. And apart from that, if you are having multiple sources of data, then you can just click on the refresh all button, and automatically your dashboard and your data, sources will update everything in one single click. And apart from that, if you are focusing into filters, then let's say you wanted to identify the sales happening in one single state. Let's say we have all the states of a country and you wanted to find out the sales related to one single country. Then you can use the filter option to filter all the states except one that you want and then remove all of those. So that is what something you can deal with filters. So here we have it. And if you swipe down, you have data tools group. Here you have data validation and you have data. Uh, so here you can remove the duplicates data. Data duplication is one common thing. And if you wanted to remove all the duplicates in one single go, then remove duplicates option that you have will be really handy. And here we have text to columns option. So text to columns comes handy when you wanted to, kind of split the data into different parts. Let's say you have customer first name and customer last name, and you wanted to separate them as two different columns from one single column. Then you can go with text to columns, and you can also provide the delimiter, whether if it is a space delimiter, hyphen delimiter. Based on that delimiter, it will split the data. And in the next group, you have the forecast step. If you have data for this current month or this current week or this current year, and you wanted to see how the data could be performing or the future results, then you can go with what if analysis and provide some steps to it, and you can get the projected data, right? Not just that, if you wanted to, let's say, know the marks of a student, what could happen if, let's say, you have 5 subjects in total to learn, and you have got the scores for 4 subjects, and you have reached that limit point, right, to either pass or fail. Now, to identify what number of marks you need to get in that one subject, you can do a what if analysis and it will give you. Let's say you will pass if you get 65 marks in that final subject, and if you get below that, you'll flunk the exam. If you get above that, you'll pass the exam. So you have that logic in your mind, right? And if you're having a different use case and a bigger digit, not just two number digits, then you can go with what if analysis and use it in real business use case, and you'll identify what would be the target for me to, achieve that target. Let's say like 6,000 traffic you need to get onto your website to reach that target. You can do that with what if analysis. And you have the data analysis shortcut here. So you can use that. And since we already went through it, you can use that logo to generate some automated Power Pivot tables for you and get the analysis, right? That's what you can do with data. This is another shortcut here. And apart from that, here you have review, which we rarely use, and view and automate. If you're going with automations, then Excel VBA, this is the perfect place for you. And developer, which is also related to Visual Basics and VBA. And this is the Power Pivot, where we will use some Power Pivot options and create some data models and etc. So these are the basics you need to know before you get started with Excel. Now that we have a comfortable understanding on how rows and columns are used in Excel, how you insert data, how you create some formulas and aggregation, and apart from that, how you create some data analysis charts, etc. And apart from that, you have some data validation foundations, condition formatting, etc. Right? Now we will get started with hands-on. So here we have data validation. Let's understand how that really works. So here, let's say we have a small data table, and here we are manually adding the data. So let's say, imagine this is your sales data set, and here you need to add the sales related data, right? Now I receive a new order, which is 1005, and the product I'm selling could be one of the three options, which is tablet, phone, or laptop. Let's say I make a sale of tablet, so I have to manually write tablet, and then how many number of tablets did I sold? I think I'll be selling about two, And then what's the price? So I think I'll be getting around $800 for this. And I sold it in the central region. This is okay for, I think I have 18 rows here, excluding the row headers. So this is the row header. So excluding the row header, I'll be having about 18 entries. Now, what if I have 18,000 entries? That's a little confusing and scary, right? And this could be a little tough as well. Now, for such instance, you can use some automation and you can use some built-in functions of Excel. So let's start with the order ID. Now, let me select these two, and here you can see a small logo has been highlighted. If I expand my screen, you can see a small logo, right? This is called flash fill. If I just click on it, let me go back. So it's like I'm training this particular tool that I have a series entry. If I click on it, it will load the rest of the data entries to an automatic number, right? In the increasing order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, so on, right? And in a similar way, I can't do this with these entries. Now, for that, I can go with data validation. So, I'm basically selling three different types of items in my store. So, I'll have this around here. And I have 5 regions. So, I'll have them around here: north, south, east, west, south, and central. So what are you doing? Why are we getting this, type of thing here? And what's the importance of this? So let me explain that. Now, I'm just trying to create a drop-down option where I can just select the item that I'm selling. So for that, I'll go to data option, and here I have the data validation option. So what I want to do is, I have a lot of options here. You want to go with any value, you can go with any value, a whole number, decimal, list. Coming to list, I want to proceed with list because I already have a list of elements I want to work with. Now I want to provide the source. So where's the source for this? So I can select these cells as my source, and you can also have an input message. So you can provide an option which says select from the drop down. Yeah, this could be my message and this could be my products and the error alert as well. So we have our repeat. So here we have our drop down, right? So based on the drop down, you can select the items. Similarly, we will drag and drop this to this particular whole length. What we can do is we can right now select everything, and we have an empty drop down here. And we'll just copy this and drag and drop to the end. So we have the data validation applied for all our sales. Now, whenever I make a sale, I just simply select the item that I've sold, add the pricing. So what's the price for a phone? Could be $200. Let's have made about $400 here by select phones to the central or west region. So we'll also go through that region as well. Now here we have another list. Let's say I sold a tablet, and $400 would be the price of one single tablet. So I'll sell one tablet here and the $400 price tag here. Now, can we do the same for the region as well? Yes, we can do that. So it's a simple process. Again, go through the data validation, and here we have the data validation option. And here we go through the settings, and since any value will be our list, so where's the source? This is the source for my region, and you can have the title. So you can have the title as zone, and please select from the drop down. There you go. And error alert. From the drop down. Now we are good to go. Now you can also drag and drop this to all the cells we have here. And from the simple drop down, you can see there's a highlight here, and this particular cell is related to zone. Please select from the drop down alone, and can be anything north, south, east, west. And if I write something else, let's say I want to write it as some random name. I'll drop it as Excel and hit enter. I'll have an error. Now you can retry and you can go to cancel, and then we will go through the region, right? Now, what this does is this has wonderful benefits. You're dealing with a small data set for sample on my screen right now. But if you're dealing with a bigger data set, let's say thousands together, 10,000 or even lakhs of entries, and you have a collection of colleagues or employees or your reportees, let's say 5 to 10 or even more, and they're supposed to enter the data for you on your database, then this really comes handy. This avoids that data corruption or inconsistencies in the data, right? You just get them an option, they just make a sale and select something from the option which is right. And then you will have this data ready for analytics. It kind of minimizes the effort on data cleaning aspect, right? Now, we will go into the next stage, which is about conditional formatting. Remember the example that we discussed about students' dataset? We have something similar here. We have about 30 students and their scores in their subjects, which is math, physics, chemistry, biology, English, and sports. So a lot of them have cleared their exams and they have passed in their exams. There are a couple of students which did not. Something like we have an example here. Karan Mehta, who might have scored 29 marks in math and 35 in physics, 33 in chemistry, and so on. So there are a couple of more students who might have passed, who might have flunked, right? So you can just eyeball it and mark them. So I want to eyeball this particular section and mark it as red color, indicating that this particular candidate has failed in the exam, right? Now, I want to do that to all these students since I have just 30. If I had about 300, what if I had 3,000 students? Will I manually check and add them? No. Even if I work with only just 30 students, manually eyeballing each and every single student could be painstaking and time consuming, right? And from a business perspective, let's say you have a wide variety of products, a wide arsenal of products that are performing sales and everything, right? And there you get a moment where you have to present your sales insights to your client. And if you are manually eyeballing every single sales performance and highlighting it, and what let's imagine that your client identified something which you missed, could be really problematic in real time, right? So to avoid that, do you have any tool in Excel which can, automatically look at each and every single cell for you and does the thing what you're trying to do in just moments or even seconds? Yes, we do have. So that is nothing but conditional formatting. So before that, let's go through this small shortcut which is Alt HOI, which will automatically adjust the cell width and height. So we have everything in order. And now we can go with conditional formatting. For that, you just need to highlight all the cell elements and go through conditional formatting. I want to highlight the cells in some color, which is less than a dedicated number, which is 35. And I can also get to choose the color, red border, red fill. So I'll go with the first one, which is red fill. Enter, and there you go. Now, all the cells where the score is less than 35 is automatically highlighted for you, right? Everything in repeat. So everything is in order. Now, this will be really helpful in real time. And conditional formatting is not just about identifying a number which is greater than or less than and highlighting it with a color. It's a lot more than that. You can also include some logical conditions. You can also use some mathematical conditions. You can also use some complex formulations and then let conditional formatting decide the right decision for you. For now, we'll just go through the fundamentals, basic examples of understanding how conditional formatting works in real life. That was a brief example for it. But in case if you wanted to explore a lot about conditional formatting, we have a dedicated tutorial on conditional formatting where we have explored each and every possible permutation and combination through conditional formatting, and it will be a great learning experience for you. So we will link it in the description box below, and you can also search that on channel. Now, going to the next phase in this particular tutorial, which is about data cleaning. Now, data cleaning could be a little too early for you, or even it can be the spot on position for you right now to learn about it. So, what's the need for data cleaning could be the question, right? We had a good foundational experience on data cleaning in the section where we discussed about data validation, where you will have your employees or team members adding data for you, right? In real time, one data analyst might have a different perspective of vision for data cleaning or data positioning aspect, and another might have a different perspective, right? If I expand this table here, you can see, if I expand again, some of the entries are a little too different from each other. If I consider date joint column, someone has entered DD, MM, and YY. So the first one, DD 12, second one, MM01, last one, YYY and Y, which is 2023. In terms of Excel or in terms of data analytics, you mentioned the month as M, you mentioned the date as D, and you mentioned Y as here, right? So here, if you see the first cell entry is proper according to us, maybe. And the second cell entry is having a delimiter separated by slash, right? And the third one is having YY and YY format with MM or could be DD as well. We don't know. Two can be the month of February or two can be a date and 10 can be a date or the month of October, right? There's a lot of confusion. Now, the fourth one looks a little more pleasing. So it has 10th date and month is February and 23. Again, if you deep dive, 23 can be a date. It should be a date. So, yeah, we don't have a 23rd month. But yeah, in case if it were 3, then it could have been confusing. Would that be the month of March or 10? Would that be month of October and the date is 3, right? So, these kind of inconsistencies can happen in real time. So, before we proceed with any kind of analytics, data cleaning or making the data ready enough to proceed with analytics happens to be the most important stage. And here you have amount paid column. So some of them are already mentioned with a currency. So here you can see euro, and some of them are, having some space which can be considered as an inconsistency, right? And apart from that, here you have the first name and last name. There are most of the scenarios, let's say ticket booking, if you're booking an airplane, repeat. Let's say ticket booking. Let's say you're going with airline ticket booking, then always the second name comes first and the first name comes after. So let's go with Rahul Verma or Rahul Kumar, right? And in the airline booking system, Kumar comes first, then comes Rahul, or maybe the vice versa. Basically, the thing is you want a name to be split into first name and second, right? So here, someone has chosen comma as a delimiter. Someone has chosen hyphen as a delimiter. Someone has chosen space as a delimiter, right? There is some inconsistency. Same with the phone numbers. So there are places where they have written hyphen. There are places where they have written brackets and a lot of problematic thing here as well. Now, city and country. So here we have city and country combined in one place, but I want them to be separate. City as a separate column and country as a separate column, right? So these are the foundational basic examples for data cleaning. So let's get started to understand how it works in real time. But don't worry, in our sales dashboard, we will have a little more complex data cleaning operations where we will change the data type, happen to include some mathematical calculations, create new columns, split the data, and you also have some date related operations where we will be formatting the date and then we will change the format from MMDDYY to YYDDMM, making it completely ready for SQL data analysis. And we will also have some pivot table analysis, a lot more. But now let's understand the basics of it to basically get the gist of it or wrap head around it, right? Now I will remove this comma and make it as space, and I will remove this hyphen and have the space there. Now I can't do this for every line, right? Let's say I want to eliminate the bracket here, so I can replace it. Find and replace. One has been made, and here another bracket is there, so I'll do that as well. Replace all. and I want to remove hyphen and replace all, and there you go. And you can also manually get into this particular one and remove the space. Now you have numerical values. And if you go through this data and if you go through this data column and into the data type, it is general. But we want more formats and I want to select text because in case I want to run some text matching operations, find me the details of the customer whose phone number is, then it is basically a text matching operation, right? So in that scenario, I want this data type to be in the text format. So I'll keep it that way, right? And here I want to insert a new column so that I can go with text split operation. So here I'll go with data and here text to columns and go to next. And my delimiter would be hyphen and then next. And here I can see a quick preview. So this would be my city, this could be my country, and then finish. Do you want to replace it? Yes. So here I have cities and here I have countries. Good to go. And here I have numerical values. So I want to eliminate this space and I want to provide a dedicated currency format to all the numbers. Since one of them is already having a euro, I want to add euro for rest of the ones as well. So I would like to go with currency. And here I have the symbols. I'll go with the euro. Might take a little while. So B, C, D, and E. There you go. So I have euro here. Okay. And I have all the currency formats. Rest is date. This might take a little confusion. So first, we will do this in two stages. Since we have dot, slash, and everything, we will do it in two stages. We will go through data and text to columns. Here we will go with delimiter and here we will unselect everything. We'll have nothing here. And next is here we have to select month, a day, or DM by whichever suits you best and finish. Let's do that once again. I think I missed something. Yeah, I was supposed to go with month, date, and year and finish, right? Now, what we will do is replace this with good data format. Here I choose year, month, and date. This is so far done almost. I'll replace the dots with hyphen and we are good to go. So here we have cleaned data ready for analysis. We can save it. And now here we are at, let me delete this unwanted sheet. And now we are ready with data cleaning. And now we come to the next part of data analysis basics, which happens to be the pivot tables, right? Now, pivot tables, as the name says, pivot, right? They make a pivotal point in data analysis. So we already went through the data validation part here where we had some product and sales related information, right? Now, let's say I have this data table here, which is also related to sales. We have some salespersons, region like North, South, East, West, and product details, units. So all those details. Now I want to find out what is the number of sales we did in a specific region. Or let's say I want to find out the sale figures for the employees. We have Rahul, Mohit, Priya, and everyone. I want to find out what's the number of sale or what's the revenue that they generated to my organization. And let's say I wanted to deal with product related data. How many number of products that we sold in the laptop segment, or what's the total revenue we generated via laptop product, right? All those details, you cannot just manually check all those on the worksheet and get the details, right? So we have one such tool to help us with, which is pivot table. So it's really simple. You go to the insert option. We discussed this before, how to get to the pivot tables, right? So we just need to go to insert and here we select the pivot table option. So here we have two more other options where you can insert the pivot table in the same worksheet, or you can choose to create a new worksheet altogether. I'll go with the new worksheet and create? Yes. So we have a skeleton here for pivot table. So to get the results, it's really simple. It's just a drag and drop operation. Let's say I want to get the region-wise sales. So I'll drag and drop regions into the rows. And now I want to find out the unit price, right? So I want to drag and drop unit price to aggregation. So automatically the aggregation function is set to sum, and Excel is intelligent enough that I'm looking for some operation. So I want to find out the total sales, right? So it gave me the total sales. Now, instead of region, let's say I want to find out salesperson. I simply drag and drop salesperson into the rows. And if I don't want that, so we have the details here. Each and every one of them have equally performed. So they made $1,900 sale. And I don't want salesperson. Now I'll just drag and remove the salesperson out of this box. And I want to find out the product level. So I'll drag and drop product into the rows. Now we have the product level sales. So laptop gave us $3,600. Phone gave us $2,400. Tablets gave us $1,600, right? So this could come really handy in terms of real world analytics. And you can also create some, pivot charts as well. You have the pivot chart here, and you can choose any kind. I'll go with the pie chart and press OK. And you have a pie chart here. You can name it as product sales, and you can also choose a dedicated option, and you'll have all of those in one go. So this is really important when we are dealing with dashboards. So we'll have a similar approach. We'll create different pivot tables and then their respective pivot charts, right? So this could be handy. So this is the basic understanding of it. Now we can name it as pivot chart. Now comes lookup, right? So let me have this table positioned somewhere here. Now, what is lookup, or why is lookup really important for us? So most of the times, just like we had the data here, let me close this. So most of the times, data will not be positioned in such a way that all the details are in one place. So we have a different reason for that. That is called data modeling. So in that, you can understand much about data modeling when we land into SQL, Power BI, and Tableau. So in real times, let me go back to the same position. So in real times, we have separate positions or separate places where we store the data. For example, in my sheet, you have employees data table in one place. You have employee name, department, code. This acts as a foreign key here. So we'll have a briefing on foreign keys and primary keys in SQL. So we have department code, we have product code, and the unit code. Similarly, we have a different table for departments. We have department code and department name, and another table for products where we have product code, product name, product pricing, right? So the data will be scattered. So each and every data table will be interconnected with each other via data connections or data relations. So these are done via schemas. One of the popular one is star schema. We have a lot other varieties as well. And we will have one-to-one, one-to-many, many-to-one, many-to-many relationships as well. We will go through them in SQL. So basically, we will try to store data in different locations or different tables, and then pull some strings and establish a connection with each and every other table, right? And then we will segregate all of them to one place via relations and perform data analytics. Now let's take a use case. I have a third table where I want to find out the employee related information. Right now, if I go through employee data table, I find out the department code and the product code, right? Not the actual literal name of the department or the actual literal name of product that we sold. And what's the sale he made, right? I don't have that. Let's take that as a use case and find out what's the department name and product name. So we can do that via VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, right? A lot of options there, but we will go with XLOOKUP alone because vertical lookup and HLOOKUP are a little too obsolete right now, not completely obsolete, but XLOOKUP is a step ahead or advanced. It's a combination of both, right? And let's also discuss some quick limitations. VLOOKUP looks from left to right. Let's say the lookup value is in the left position and your result is in the right position. Then it looks from left to right. But if it's the other way around, if your lookup is in the left and the result is in the right, VLOOKUP will never work. Similar with HLOOKUP, top and down approach. But if it is XLOOKUP, you just have to give the lookup value and the result value. It will give you the result regardless of the positions of the lookup array and the result array. So to save time and have a stronger dominating approach in data analysis, let's go with XLOOKUP alone. But in case if you want to really explore the lookup functions, we have a dedicated tutorial where we will discuss VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP and XLOOKUP all together, and we will have hands-on experience where we will definitely understand how it works in all the scenarios. Now, without much ado, let's go with XLOOKUP. So here, I want to find out department name. So I'll write a simple XLOOKUP formula here, and I want to provide the lookup array, right? So this is my lookup value, and where is my lookup array? So this is my lookup array. So yeah, we were also supposed to have this in my table. So let's have it. Yeah, now it makes sense. So I want to find out the department name, right? Also, I wanted to have product details. So I'll have this as well to find out them. I need this. There you go. Now, to find out the department name, I want a lookup value. This is my lookup value. And this is my lookup array. And this is my result array. There you go. Now you can simply expand this to all the sections and you will have all the department names. So Rahul Sharma belongs to sales and he also sold a product, right? Now we want the product details. So similarly, X lookup, and I want to look for this particular product, and this product details are here. So this is the lookup column or lookup array, and this is my result array. Hit enter, and this is the item. Now similarly, if I want to find out the pricing details, I'll go with X lookup, and this is my lookup array, and this is my, that was my lookup value, this is my lookup array, and this is my result array. Enter. There you go. Now we have a perfectly analysis ready data table. So we have Rahul Sharma. He belongs to a certain department, and he belongs to or he sold a particular product, and this is the revenue he generated, right? So this is how you use XLOOKUP in real time. And apart from that, we can now deep dive into aggregate. So basically, lookups help you segregate all the data from different tables together in one place, or you can also fetch for some missing data. Basically, they act like search and get the data. And apart from this, we can now deep dive into aggregates. So aggregates help you with some basic mathematical functions like sum, divide, total, average, etc. And apart from that, you can also find mean, median, mode, max, minimum, right? So here we have some examples. So for average, let me remove this. So let's say I want to find out the average pricing. So I'll just write down average of unit price, and there you go. And let's say I want to find out total revenue that I generated. So in that case, I'll use sum function and give this particular array as the input. And I'll also try to find out maximum pricing of a certain product where I'll use max function. And now I'll give this particular array and find out which is the maximum product. So a laptop has been the maximum product so far. And if I want to go with the minimum, then I'll give it as minimum of this particular array. And I'll get the minimum pricing and so on, right? And so on. So these are the basic aggregate functions that you can use on daily basis. And now with that, we will make a transition to the next function in our list for today, which is analyze. So analyze acts as that one automation tool, which is inbuilt in your Excel, which gives you the pivot tables, which it will create by itself, and you can just have so analyze does this thing where it automatically creates pivot tables for you and calculates the things for you and gives you results in a conversation like style. So select the entire data set, go to analyze, and you will have all the pivot tables readily created for you. So there you go. You have sales amount by region, discount sales amount, and you have a beautiful line and bar graph together. Here you have a bar graph which shows you region-wise sales and time-based analysis as well. Apart from this, if you want to have a conversation with your what analysis or analyze data in Excel, let's say I want to find out what's the total amount of sale done by Rahul. So I'll just write down Rahul total sales. He gave me all the sales which Rahul performed. So he performed sales in the North region. I think he is handling North region. Apart from that, if I expand this particular table to an extent, then I will have a few more details. So we sold about electronics items category. He sold about one laptop, one phone, and one tablet. And yeah, I think he sold 2 units of laptops, 4 phones, and 5 tablets. And units price and also the revenue that he generated. So that's all about the basic functionalities of Microsoft Excel so far. So with that, you have understood what are the main day-to-day applications that you do along with data analytics when you are on Excel. So you'll be performing some data validation, conditional formatting, data cleaning, creating pivot tables, pivot charts, right? And you'll also use some lookup functions like VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, and XLOOKUP. I would recommend you to focus more on XLOOKUP than other two. So because XLOOKUP is totally advanced and it is a combination of both V and H together, and it'll save you a lot of time, and the limitations are very less compared to the other two. And apart from that, you'll also have some aggregate functions and mathematical functions where you will apply some basic fundamental mathematics, subtract, multiply, add, right, divide, etc. And aggregate functions like maximum amount, minimum amount, and total revenue to generate average revenue by zone, etc. So far so good. We have a comfortable understanding of Excel fundamentals that you will be using on a daily basis. Now we will make a huge transition to the next part where we will have some real-time sales data from the year 2021 to all the way up to 2026. And we will have separate Excel files for that, year-based, and then we will try to, add them all to one place and do some performance analysis, etc. So let's go with it. Now with that, we will close this sheet, and this particular sheet will be saved for you. This particular sheet will be saved for you just in case if you want to follow along or if you want to have a deep down on this, and I will provide the sheet for you. So that will be saved. Now let's go through the data sets. So here we have sales data from 2021 to all the way up to 2026. Let's have a quick briefing of the data set. So we will be having, okay, let's use that quick shortcut Alt-HOI to adjust the column width. So we have order ID, we have order date, delivery date, order status. So consider this as a social media marketing analytics. So we have a wide variety of platforms. We have Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, we will have YouTube and Facebook. So we will be running some campaigns on all those platforms. And based on those campaign platforms, we will have generated some traffic here. So we have about so much traffic in the year 2021. Then out of so much traffic, we extracted about so many leads. And if you see on my screen, we have so many converted orders, and those orders have turned into given us some revenue and given us some profits, right? And this particular section will be about the funnel data, and this could be our orders data, and this could be our customers data where we have customers ID and name of the customer, first name, second name, email of the customer, the location, state, region, pin code, door number, and also phone number, right? So these are the basic things we will be having. Don't worry, we will be also performing some data cleaning operations here. This particular phone number, if you observe, we have +1, which is a country code. Along with that, we will also have some hyphens. So we will be cleaning that all. And in case if you're wondering, can we make that into a country code? Yes, we can convert that into a country code based on the country code provided here. Since you're dealing with only the US based data, I think the country code is not specifically required here. But in case if you want to go ahead with some logical operations, you can also include the logical operations and identify which country code it belongs to and add the relevant country code as well. Now, this is the quick walkthrough of our dataset. Now, let's proceed with the next section where we will have a new sheet created. And remember about the data importing operations that we discussed about. we will be importing the data from a folder now. So we have saved all this data in the new DA file. So here we have it. We will make use of the Power Query in Excel and segregate all the data together, apply some data cleaning operations and steps, and then once the data is ready, we will proceed with analytics. Now, uh, let's go to data, and here we will get data from a folder and navigate to the folder. So our folder is in downloads, so new DA, and Power Query is up. So we want to perform some data manipulation here. So we will go with data transformation. So here is our Power Query. Now you can click on this particular expand button where we will combine and expand the folders altogether or the files altogether, the workbooks we had dealt with. It will take a little time. And now this is your preview. So you will have order ID, order date. So you can already see the order date has been transformed to a different data type. So we will have to do that. And we will also have the customer details that we will have customer ID, first name, last name combined together. We will have it split. And then if you scroll further, we have the phone numbers, and next we have the traffic detail or the funnel detail, where the revenue and profit are not formatted to currency. We will format them to currency. So few changes that we will be doing. So let's click on OK, and we will have the Power Query window opened for us shortly. So there you go. So it has already applied some steps for us, filtered hidden files, invoke custom function, and all those things. In case if you don't want any of these changes to be approved, you can just click on into, and that particular change will be taken off from the list. But I'll continue with what we have so far. I want to perform something from my own. So firstly, I don't want this file name here. I'll remove that. And we have order dates here. So what I'll do is quickly change the type to date, and we will have the DDMM by format. And apart from that, here we have customer details. So I'll quickly split this so it's a little more fast in Power Query. So here I'll provide the delimiter and click OK, and I'll name this as customer ID, and this as customer first name, and this as customer last name. And now we have the phone number. Before you change the data type of phone number, I'd like to make some changes to this. So what I'll do is I'll replace the values. So since I have +1 here, I don't want +1. So I'll just replace this with anything and everything or nothing, right? And now again, I'll replace the values, and here we have hyphen left out, nothing again. So now we have proper phone numbers. Then we will deep dive into the last section where we have quantity, traffic, orders. Yeah, this is the one. Now I want to select these two and change the data type to currency. And this is now in dollars format. And I also want to add a new column here, which will tell me about the cost price. So I'll name this as cost price, and I will add revenue into the column and profit into the column. So subtraction of revenue and profit should give me cost to company. So this is the one. I'll also change this type to currency, and all good to go. Now let's have a quick briefing. So we have order ID, we have the order date, delivery date, order status, platform, customer ID, customer name, last name, email, state, region, PIN code, door number, phone number, and subcategory, category, product, quantity, traffic, leads, orders, revenue, profit, and cost price. So far, so good. Now, what I will do is go back to home, close, and load the data. So the data will be now loaded, and here you have the quick query connections and everything that you wanted in one place. And here you have the table design. I'd like to go with the basic design, what we always used to have. And I'll remove the filter. We'll go to filter and sort and clear the filter. And if you come back here, you have this in the form of date, and I don't want that to be in this format. I'll go to year, month, and date format. which is SQL friendly for us in future. And everything is in order. Now you can also do some formatting if you want, but I'm good to go with this. And I'll save this as, before saving, let's go back and remove any other sheets. So this sheet was the original one, which we don't want. This is the one which we care about. So we will save this as downloads, and in here we have created a new file, new TA. We will save it as book 2, and also we will save it in the form of a CSV file because we need CSV SQL. There you go. Now it's all good to go. Now what we will do is we will open this particular spreadsheet once again, and okay, I think I opened the CSV file. We're supposed to open the Excel workbook. Now we can continue with some pivot table analysis. There you go. We can select all the data and now go with the insert pivot option. So I'll create a new pivot table. So here I want platform wise analysis. So I'll have platform here and the total number of orders that I have received. Or the revenue that I have received, and it will be here. It will give me a platform wise analysis, and then we will create some pivot table chart, which can be this one, and leave it here and call it as platform based revenue, right? And now we'll go back to this particular one. We'll insert a new pivot table. We will insert a couple of pivot tables so that we have what we need. So we will have region in the rows and revenue in the values. So for this, we will have another pivot chart, which can be a pie chart. And based on this, we will have region-wise sales here. And go back to this particular one. Insert a new pivot table. So here we will have state-wise revenue, and we will use it as map. Yeah, or a tree map should be good. Bar graph should be good enough. Now we will create another pivot chart, and here we will have category wise analytics. And we can also insert another pivot table here and call it as subcategory level analytics. So we will have the brand based analytics as well. So far, so good. Insert another one. And here we will check the order date. and revenue as the values. Now we will go to the pivot chart and add the line graph. There you go. Now we have year-on-year analysis of sales and revenue. So we had a spike during 2022 and 23, and then we have a drop. We can see the sales growing in 2026 and so far. Now we have a couple of pivot charts. Now we are good to go with the dashboard. So let's have this copied and pasted in this particular sheet. Click anywhere and paste it. And let's go to sheet number 2. It's this one, sheet 7. You can select anywhere. We have this. Let me close this particular window. Copy, paste. And so we can also have a pie chart for this one. Brand distribution. And lastly, the month on month or year on year analysis, or I can just name it as YOY revenue. Then just copy this and share it to this particular place. And there you go. Now here we can insert slices. So I want slices for region. We want slicer for state. We want slicer for a subcategory. And I think that should be good enough. And press OK. So now, before we do anything, let's place them in order. And this would be the last one. There you go. Now we need to report connections. So we need to connect every other slicer with every other slicer. Similarly, the report connection to this one as well. So if you don't report the connections, the problem is the slicer will work with the only connected papers or the uh, reports that you have got them connected to. But now if you report all the connections, you will have the specific brand alone. If I select Jordan, then I'll have the brand distribution of Jordan alone. Similarly, if I select the central region, you'll have the sales report only for the central region alone. So each and every chart is now interactive. So similarly, if you select any single state, you will have the results based on that single state alone. So this is how you create a completely interactive dashboard in Excel. So far we had a beautiful understanding of the basic functions repeat. So far, we had a comfortable understanding of what are the basic functionalities that you will be handling when you're working on data analytics using Excel. And also, we have created some Power Query operations, imported data from Excel workbooks, and then we have created a lot of pivot tables and pivot charts. And at the end, we have created a completely interactive and functional dashboard of the sales report. Now, with that, we will make a transition to SQL, and we will be using the same Excel workbook there as well, or the Excel CSV file, to create a quick SQL data analytics report using some queries. And we'll also have, before we do that, we'll also have a quick understanding of the basic functionalities of SQL and then dive into the report generation in SQL. So now we have finished Excel, and that particular workbook was completely saved, and it will be attached in the description box below for you to practice. Don't worry. And now we have landed onto MySQL Workbench, and here we will start with SQL queries. Don't worry, we'll not hurry. We will start off from fundamentals, how to create a small table, and I'll not take much time in just fundamentals here. So we'll create some simple tables here, and then we will try to extract some basic queries, just like we did in back in Excel, so that you have a comfortable understanding of how SQL works in real time. Once these small sections of SQL fundamentals is done, we can directly, you can see on my screen, we can directly drive ourselves into the analytics part, where we will use the same previous sales data set that we created and filtered and vary for analysis, and run some queries and extract the data that we are looking for. Now, without further ado, let's get started. So first, we will create the table, which is departments table. So you need to use the create and table keywords and the table name, which is departments. The department ID will be integer, and this will be primary key. So we need to dedicatedly provide the, naming convention here that makes SQL understand this is the primary key. Next is department name, which is work at, and you have provided the character limit of 50. So control enter will be the shortcut that we will be using. So before that, I think we need to select the database. So we are in interview database now, and then we will create this particular table. The table has been created. And now entering the data is also similar and simple. It is straightforward. Insert into the table, which is department, and the table column, the department ID and name. And here are the values that we will be inserting. So these particular tables are inserted successfully. Now, if you want to check or extract what you have in departments, it's really simple. Select star from the table name, and you can just write down the table name here, semicolon to end the command, and there you go. So you have the following entries in your table. Next will be the employees data table, and here we have employee ID, name, salary, department, and hire date. And here we will be having one foreign key, which is department ID. Control enter, and we have successfully created the employee table. Similarly, we will enter the details into employees table. Don't worry if it is getting a little faster. We will have this query document shared with you along with the analytics queries that we will be performing upfront, right? Now you can use those queries and follow along with us, right? Now we will enter these elements into the employees table. Same like before, we will select star from employees table and paste it here, semicolon, enter. So these are the employees we are dealing with. And we'll also have users data table, control enter. We have the following users to be entered into this particular users data table. Yeah, does not exist. I think, yeah, this is the one. We need to create this. Yeah, we have created the table. Now we need to enter these particular elements into the data table. Control enter. Just like before, you can quickly select star from everything or select everything from users. Place users here, semicolon, enter. So these are the users you will be having. The fourth table is orders data table. Here we'll be having order ID, customer ID, and order date. So if you recall the Excel tutorial, I said you about something, data modeling. So anywhere we will not have all the data elements present in one single table. You can see it here, right? So we are creating 5 different tables. We created a users table, we created an employees table, we created an departments table, and we are creating an orders table. And apart from that, I think we also created the product table as well, right? Departments, we created a department table, we created employees, users, orders, and the other one was sales, right? So we are creating 5 different tables. And if you go along with me here, we have also mentioned dedicated locations, which say as foreign. Now, foreign key is something which is used to reference another table. And based on that, remember the lookups, right? We created a two new column entry in a data table and referencing to one particular element in the present table to the referencing table, we extracted an output, right? In the same way, if you want to put some value to your table using another table, so in that particular instance, you might have to make use of the primary keys and foreign keys, and you might have to reference that particular table and extract the details. So this is about mostly subqueries and joins. We'll also go through that. Now, if you want detailed tutorial on that, we will have a SQL full course included in the description box below. You can go through that. For now, we are just skimming through the surface of basics of SQL so that we can deep dive into analytics, right? So we have entered these particular elements and we have extracted them from elements of the table named employee. And the fourth table is orders table. I think we have successfully created orders as well. Of a safer side, did we create it? Yeah, it's already created. Now we need to enter or select star from orders table, semicolon, enter. So we have not entered anything. So we need to enter these elements, control enter. And now we will have some elements in the orders table. Now let's proceed with the last table, which is about the sales table. We have successfully created it. And these will be the entries into the sales table. Now select everything from sales. And here's the output. There you go. So far, so good. Now, let's go ahead with the basic fundamental statements. To retrieve everything, we have so far used this select star everything and only names. If you are looking for dedicated columns only, then you can provide the column names in specific here and we will get them. And if you want to filter out something, let's say I want employee details of only engineering department, then you can do that with the where filters as well or the where clause as well. So I want everything from employees where department is specifically mentioned as engineering. So here we have the engineering department details. At engineering limit 0. Unknown key. So I think we need to go to the departments table. Okay, so department ID, we were supposed to go ahead with department ID. Since we want the department name as well, I think we need to create a join here. That would take just a moment. Join departments. So where is departments table? Yeah, departments. Join departments on employees dot department ID. Did we create a departments table? I think we have created employees table. Yeah, we have created departments. So department ID, department name. We need to copy these both and place it somewhere here. Department ID is equals to employees dot department ID where department name is equals to engineering. So far, so good. Now let's run the query and we have the details. So we have unexpectedly ran into joins a little bit early, but no worries. So basically that's how we join two different tables and extract the insights. So in the employees table, when we created the employees table, we did not specifically mention the department name. I think we mentioned department ID there. So based on the ID, we just roll back to departments table and extract the department name using the employee table via the foreign key department ID. So that's how basically it works. Now we go into another section where we kind of filter the data based on a number. Let's say I want to extract the employee details where salary numbers are greater than 90,000. So we are using a salary clause here with where clause. So greater than 90,000. So these are the employees. And similarly, we have employees in marketing team located in Chicago. So we have and condition here. So where clause along with an and condition, and similarly employees hired. So this is a date and time function. So here we are using a higher date should be greater than this particular year and date. So remember we created year, month, and date, or YYYYMMDD format because that is SQL friendly. That's the reason we have converted the date format in such way, and here we are using the date and time functions here, right? Now we are going into the sorting and order by function and having by clauses in the future. Now we are selecting everything from employees table, order by salary ascending. So what is happening here is ASC is a keyword which orders in ascending order, smallest to largest, right? Now let's enter. There you go. So these are the employees with least salaries and these are the employees with highest salaries. And higher date descending similarly with date function. And the last one is department and salary. Now we have the limit and distinct function. So let's say you wanted to find out that top 3 employees with highest salaries, then limit function will be helpful for you. What it does basically is it limits down the top 3 rows and rest will be omitted. Now let's go through that. And here we have select distinct from employees. So some of the times you might have used that delete duplicates function in Excel, right? In the same way, here you're not deleting anything, but what you're doing is basically filtering out the distinct entries in a table. So we'll be using distinct keywords for that. Now we have entered into the last segment like before in Excel, we'll be using the aggregate functions, right? In the same way, if you wanted to find out the total count of employees, you can go with the count function. Total salary expenditure on all the employees, go with the sum function. And if you wanted to filter out the average salaries in a dedicated department, you can do with that as well. Department name is equals to engineering. I think we were supposed to use the join clause here as well, just like before. Or we can just quickly use the same query that we used before. Yeah, this one, copy, go back to aggregate functions. So here we have used a keyword called as, right? So it's used for aliasing. Now we'll place it here, join departments. This should probably work. There you go. So we have 90,000 as the average salary, minimum and maximum in just one query. So this is the minimum salary and this is the maximum salary. And now count the employees per department. This is where we come across group by. Group by is like creating a pivot table and looking into the numbers based on a specific department. So just quickly enter and there you go. Department, I think it was department name. Select. There is some error here, but not to worry much about it. Let's quickly try to resolve it. There you go. So we have 9 people in engineering. Okay, so far so good. Now we can just quickly dive into, without much ado, we can quickly dive into analytics section. So this is our analytics, right? We will frame some questions, and based on the questions, we will derive some answers in the query format. So consider this particular question as a quick homework for you, and you can tell me the answer in the comment section. This is your homework. You need to count the total number of employees per department. Now we have entered the analytics section. So we will be having some analytical based questions here. So I'll explain you what the question is about and why is this question asked. And then we will write a query, right? Now let's start with the first question. We will be having this data in data basics database. Now this is a different database. Now the first question is year-wise revenue trend. So this analysis focused on calculating the total revenue generated in each year to understand overall business performance. By comparing revenue across years, we can clearly identify growth patterns, shutdowns, or revenue instability. This helps stakeholders evaluate whether the business is scaling consistently over time or not. The outcome supports high-level decisions related to forecasting, budgeting, and long-term strategy. Now let's quickly look at the query. So let's go through the database first. So this is the same data that we created. We have order date, order ID, delivery date, status, platform, first name, last name of the customer, customer email, state, location, etc. And we also here have the revenue, profit, and cost price that we recently created. Now, what we are basically doing is we are selecting the year section of the overall order date. So you can extract month, date, or year based on the time functions over here. And we are aliasing it as year, and we are using an aggregate function, which is sum, to calculate the total revenue as revenue from the database, which is DBA. And we are grouping by order date and order by year. Now, let's quickly run this query to get the output. So here we have so much revenue generated in 2021, which is about 1 million. And down the line in 2026, we came down to 1.19 million. So we have a consistent kind of revenue generated. So our peak was in 2023, which was compared to the 1.2 million in the previous year. Now we have the next question, which asks about platform performance analysis. Since we discussed, we have a wide variety of platforms, which is YouTube, Facebook, Meta, Meta or Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, everything, right? Now I want to deep down a little bit and understand which platform is really working for us. So that gives us the second question. This analysis evaluates how different sales platforms contribute to overall business revenue. The goal is to identify which platforms are performing strongly, which ones are not, and which are the ones we need to focus on. Understanding platform level performance helps businesses allocate marketing budgets or operational efforts more effectively. The insights support data driven decisions on platform optimization and future investments. Now, let's go through the query and answer the question. So, here we will be selecting platform, and here we will also be using an aggregate function, which is sum of revenue, and we will be aliasing it as sum of revenue or total revenue, and we will be extracting this from the data table, which is DBA, and we will be grouping by platform and order by descending, right? So we will be having platforms which are performing top on the top position and the least ones in the last position. That's the meaning of descending order, right? Now we have Instagram performing on the top, next is YouTube, next is Snapchat, and so on. So WhatsApp is a little too low here, maybe due to some privacy concerns or spam reports, right? So we need to make our ads a little bit more realistic so that they reach to our customer in the best place possible, so that we can position our products in the best way possible, right? Now that brings us to the third question, which says about order fulfillment status distribution. So you might be having a question, what is order fulfillment status? So order fulfillment status distribution. This analysis examines how orders are distributed across different fulfillment statuses, such as delivered, pending, or cancelled. The objective is to assess operational efficiency and identify potential bottlenecks in the order lifecycle. A high proportion of non-delivered orders may indicate logistics or process issues. These insights help improve fulfillment performance and customer satisfaction. Now, let's go through the query and extract the answer for this. So I will be selecting the order status. So basically the order status is about delivered, cancelled, in transit, right? So that status will be in this particular column, and we are counting the total number of orders and we are aliasing it as total orders, and we are using multiple aggregate functions here. So the first external function is round. That particular round function is basically used to, kind of give a round figure. So let's say if I have 4.7 uh, marks, then it will be rounded as 5. And if I have about 4.1, then it will be rounded as 4. So based on the closest number, it will, roundify the outcome. So then we have count aggregate function, which counts the total number of orders, and it will be divided by a total number of over, and then it will be giving us a percentage, right? And it will be extracted from the DBA status database, and we'll have the group by clause here by status, right? Now the status delivered, total orders were 8,370 and the percentage of success is satisfaction is 69%. In trans, so this can be either converted into delivered or cancelled. So both are possible. So let's eliminate the 20% and the rest is cancelled is 10%. So quite good. We are doing really great. So we have about at least, if we take an average, we have about 75% of success rate in our delivery, right? Now that brings us to the question number 4, which deals with average delivery time analysis. Now, what is time analysis? This analysis measures the average time taken to deliver orders from placement to completion. The intent is to evaluate logistics efficiency and identify delays in the delivery process. Longer delivery times can directly impact customer experience and repeat purchases. The result helps businesses optimize supply chain operations and improve service reliability. Now let's go through the query and answer this. So similar to the previous one, we will be using round function, average function, and we'll also be using date difference function. So why is date difference here? It will basically subtract the delivery date with the order date, right? Now that gives us a number of days taken to deliver the days. So we'll alias it as average days of delivery. And we will be extracting this from data table DBA where order status is delivered. So we'll be filtering out the status table where only delivered products are calculated. And let's quickly enter. And there you go. So we have about 6 average days to deliver the product from the order date to the delivery date. Now that takes us to the 5th question, state-wise revenue distribution, where we might have to analyze which state is giving us highest revenue. So state-wise revenue collection or contribution, this analysis breaks down total revenue by state to understand regional performance. The goal is to identify high revenue and low revenue regions across the business. These insights help stakeholders focus marketing, logistics, and expansion strategies on high potential states. It also supports region-specific planning and resource allocation. Now, let's quickly go through the query and understand it and execute it. So we will be selecting state column and we'll also be selecting the revenue column. We'll be using an aggregate function, which is total sum of revenue, and we'll be aliasing it as total revenue from the database DBA. We will group by state and order by total revenue in the descending order so that we have the top performing states in the first place. So we have, and in case if somebody asks you, give me the top 1 state, then you can limit it by 1, or top 3, you can limit it by 3. So here you have top 3 performance, right? And that brings us to the next question, which is about product category profitability. So product category profitability. This analysis evaluates profitability across different product categories to understand which segments generates the most value. The intent is to identify high margin categories versus low performing ones. These insights help businesses optimize product mix and pricing strategies. It also supports decisions on where to invest, scale, or discontinue offering. Now, let's go through the query and understand the output. So here we are selecting category column. We are also using some aggregate function from the profit column, the one which we created using some mathematical calculations, right? Now order by descending. There you go. So we have training equipment on the highest profitability product category. Then we have team sports, running, outdoor, etc. Now that brings us to the 7th question, which talks about top 5 best selling products by revenue. So this analysis identifies the top 5 products based on total revenue generated. The objective is to understand which products contribute most significantly to overall sales performance. These insights help prioritize inventory planning and marketing focus. Highlighting top sellers also supports strategic decisions around promotions and product scaling. Now let's go through the query and understand it. So we will be selecting the product column. We will be using an aggregate function of sum on the revenue column. We will be selecting this from the DBA data table. We will be grouping by product and we will be ordering the revenue in descending order, and we will be selecting the top 5. So we will be using limit 5. Jerseys, sweatshirts, helmets, pants and shorts are the highest selling products. Now that brings us to the question number 8, which is about funnel analysis or conversion funnel analysis. So conversion funnel analysis. This analysis examines how orders move through different stages of sales funnel, from placement to final delivery. The intent is to identify where customers drop off or where processes slow down. Understanding these gaps helps improve conversion efficiency and reduce order losses. The insights directly support funnel optimization and revenue growth. Now, let's go through the query and understand how to execute. So we will be using some aggregate function and we'll be using some mathematical operations here. Sum of orders multiplied by 100 and divided by total traffic, which gives us conversion rate percentage from the table DBA. Now let's quickly execute this query. So here we have about 0.52, which is also known as 52% conversion rate, which is really good. Now that brings us to question number 9, which is about customer repeat purchase analysis. So this analysis looks at how frequently customers make repeat purchases over time. The goal is to evaluate customer loyalty and identify patterns in repeat buying behavior. Insights from this analysis help design retention strategies, personalized marketing, and loyalty programs. Ultimately, it supports efforts to increase customer lifetime value and sustain revenue growth. Now, let's look at the query and understand how it is going through. So we will be using count function and we will be using a subquery as well. So here the subquery is, so we will be selecting customer ID from DBA and we will be grouping by customer ID and we'll be using a having clause and order ID or total orders. So basically we can choose any of the columns. So we'll be going with order ID. So if the count of order ID is greater than 1, then automatically it is considered as a repeated customer. Now let's execute this query and see the output. So we have about 717 repeated customers in all in total. Now that brings us to the question number 10. So the question number 10 is about profit margin analysis. This analysis evaluates profit margins across products, categories, or overall business operations. The goal is to identify where the company earns the most and least profit relative to the revenue. These insights help in pricing strategies, cost management, and resource allocation. Understanding profit margins supports sustainable growth and informed financial decisions. Now, let's take a look at the query and execute that. So we have selected the profit and sum division, and we'll be rounding off it as a profit percentage from DBA. This is just a simple mathematical calculation. And we have about 24% profit margin. That's really good. And now that brings us to question number 11, which is about platform buys conversion efficiency. This is a little deep down. This analysis measures how effectively each sales platform converts visitors into paying customers. The goal is to identify which platforms are most efficient and which need improvement. Insights from these analysis help optimize marketing efforts and platform-specific strategies. Improving conversion efficiency ultimately drives higher revenue and better return on investment. Now let's go through the query. So here is our query. So we will be selecting platform and we will also be selecting the orders and leads. So we will be dividing orders by leads, total orders by total leads, and we will be rounding off to 2 positions in the decimal value. And we will be aliasing it as lead to order conversion ratio and from DBA platform or the database. And we will be grouping the platform and order by lead conversion in descending order. So highest lead conversion platform is YouTube with 3.40 conversion. Next is WhatsApp, Instagram. So in the first question, we have seen YouTube to be in the second position in terms of leads, but WhatsApp is in the last position in terms of leads. Now, the lead to conversion ratio speaks a different language. WhatsApp is in the top second, right? So, based on this, you can strategize which platforms to focus more, pay more on marketing, right? So, you can run some paid promotions on these platforms and expect good conversion ratios. And with that, we come to the last question in this particular analysis, which is about monthly sales trend. It could be a little advanced, so but simple in execution. Don't worry about that. But let's understand the intent behind it. Monthly sales trend. This analysis tracks sales on a month by month basis to uncover seasonal patterns and short term fluctuations. The goal is to identify peak periods, slow months, and emerging trends within the year. These insights help with inventory planning, marketing campaigns, and sales forecasting. Monitoring monthly trends ensures the business can respond proactively to demand changes. Now, let's go through the query and execute it and understand what's the output. So, we are selecting the order date and we are splitting it from the date, and we're expecting only the month and year. And we'll also be using revenue column, and we'll be using the sum aggregate function as total revenue from the database DBA. Now let's execute the query. So here we have year on year until 2026. So month on month evaluations. So in the year, so we have total number of so and so numbers of total revenue generated every month of every year. And that brings us to the end of this section on SQL for data analytics. Next, we will be looking into the Power BI and Tableau for analytics. So now, so far we have understood Excel and SQL data analytics. Now we dive into the most powerful tools in data analytics. So they are Tableau and Power BI. Both are designed to help you with some good and very impressive data visualizations for your clients. Now, visualizations are similar to dashboards that we created in Excel, but they will be a little more advanced and they offer you a lot of in-depth analytics than just using filters and slices that we did in Excel. Now, both Power BI and Tableau follow the same format of visualizations and DAX calculations. In Power BI, we call it as data analytics expressions. In Tableau, we call them calculated fields, level of detail, parameters, etc. Now, we will be understanding the data modeling in Excel. If you see on my screen, we have a spreadsheet. We have a couple of tables as well. So this shipments table is the mother table where we will have all the shipment related data, salesperson related data, product related data, geographical data, ship date, amount, boxes, order status, etc. And this is called as the fact table. Now, we will also understand the fact table and dimension tables separately. And here we have the dimensions table. So we had a quick explanation on the previous chapter in Excel, right? So every time the data will not be stored in one particular location, it will be spread across different tables and one entity for employees, one entity for users, one entity for customers, one for products, right? In the same way, we have the shipment related data here in a separate table, and the other data which is related to products is in a separate table. We have product, category, and cost per box, PID, and geographical related data. So here we have geo, region, GID, and similarly we have the salesperson related data, which is here, salesperson, team name, and the salesperson ID. So all of these data tables will have one primary key, which will act as a foreign key for the fact table. So here the primary key is PID, here it is GID, and here it is SPID, and they act as foreign keys to our fact table. Here we have the SPID, PID, and GID. So using these foreign IDs or foreign keys, the fact table will establish a relationship with the dimension tables. So now to understand the difference between fact and dimension, we come across a schema, and we have a lot of wide range of schemas when they come into the data modeling, but the most popular one is the star schema. So here we have the fact table, and all these DIM tagged tables are the dimension tables which are connected to the fact tables. Now this is a calendar data set. So here we have dates, month, weekday, and number of the week, right? So based on the requirement of data analytics, time series analytics, basically, we will make use of the entries present in this particular table. Now we have a quick understanding of what kind of data are we dealing with. Now let's launch the Power BI window so that we can export this to Power BI platform and understand how the analytics is going ahead and how we load the data, what are the options that we have when we are loading data, right? And all those things. This small data set is considered so that we can understand the basic fundamental functionality of how the data can be imported, what are the basic visualizations that we can perform. And apart from this, the crucial part of data analytics, which is data analytics expressions, or also known as DAX in Power BI. So once we have a brief understanding of the basic fundamentals, just like we did back in Excel and SQL, we can proceed with the bigger data set and create an end-to-end dashboard in Power BI. And similarly, we can create in Tableau as well. So the basic functionalities, which is creating a data, writing DAX functionalities, or level of detail expressions or calculated fields is completely similar on both the platforms. But what is important is understanding how we perform that first. So that's how we are going to continue. Now we will create a blank report, and on the right hand side of my screen, let me expand this a little. Hope you can see. So my camera view is maybe blocking a little, but most of the visualizations that we will be building are available here. The stacked bar chart, the column chart, the line graph, a line chart, area chart, and this is the ribbon chart, funnel. And we also have pie chart. We have donut. This is the tree map, map, filled map, the gauges, the cards. And apart from that, we have the filters, slicers, and cards and images. And we also have Power Automate. I think if you, yeah, that's the Power Automate window. And we have a complete tutorial on Power Automate for Power BI. You can go through that. And I'll also tag that in the description box below. Now, these were the visualization options we have. And on the right ribbon, top ribbon, we have file options, home, insert, modeling, view, and optimize, similar to Excel. So you can insert data, you can, um, you can get data from here. You have the various options. If you click on to the more option, here we have all the variety of data options that we have. You can get from Excel Workbook, XML, JSON. And if you have Microsoft Fabric connection, then you can also get the Fabric data, which is basically a data warehouse. And then we have other platforms. Uh, and if you are connecting with the cloud, you have also the applications for Azure as well. Let's do it a little quicker so that we can deep dive into the dashboard as soon as possible. So if you want a really detailed video, don't worry. We will also link the Power BI full course for you. You can go through that and you will have a brief understanding of Power BI there as well. Now let me quickly cancel this and we will explore the insert option here. And here you have more visual options for inserting visualizations. And here we have the modeling part. You can also customize the background. And apart from that, you can optimize and refresh the data set. So basically, if you are connected to a data set which optimizes or not optimizes, gets refreshed, or new data is getting added every single day, look, basically periodically. It can be week on week, it can be daily, it can be month on month, it can also be year after year. So whenever you get the new data, you might have to manually refresh the dashboard. Or you can also choose this particular option where you can automate for periodical updates and you can get that done. And on the left hand side, you can see report view, you can see table view, model view. It would make a lot of sense if we actually import the data. So we will go back to home, import the data from Excel, and the same data that we explored a moment ago, which is sample sales data. This is the one. So we can import this particular data, just double click or load. Let's give it a little time to load the data. So here we have it. So we will be needing the calendar data, and here we have a quick preview of calendar data. We have all the columns that we have went through. And locations data table, we have the people's data, which is about the salesperson data. Then we have the products data. Here we have the product details, cost per box, and everything else. And here we have the shipments data, right? So I think we are so far so good. And rest of the data, we don't need them as of now. But in case if you need them, you just click on them and then load them. So we are not going into any of the transformations here, but we will show you the transformations when you're creating an actual dashboard. So when we are building the actual dashboard, we will actually perform some transformation operations in Power BI, similar to the Power Query what we had in Excel. So we can, for now, just go ahead and load the data. So let us give it a moment while it loads the data. It's creating connection in the model. So you can already see it is loading the data, it is modeling it, and it is also establishing some relationships between the tables. Now, on the right hand side, let me expand that again, just like we did before. Let me scroll up a little so that you can see on top. So on the right top corner, you can see the calendar data table, locations table, people's table, product table, and shipments. If I expand this, we also have the detailed columns, right? You can see it on the right top corner. Similarly, we have people's data. And if I expand this, we have product related data and shipments data as well. If you look on the bottom corner, you can see the shipments columns as well. Now let me go back, and on the left hand side view, you can see we are currently on the report view. This is where you have the canvas. And talking about canvas, you can also have an option to customize your canvas. So here you can establish a new background to your canvas. You can also set the size of your canvas. You can add a new wallpaper, image, everything. We'll do that in the actual data visualization or report building stage, where we will customize the background and all those things. And now we'll get back. So here we have the table view. So based on the selection on the data table here, if I select calendar, location, or anything else, based on that, we will have a data preview here. So this is the calendar preview, this is the locations preview, this is the people preview, products, and shipments. So preview can help you understand what kind of data are we dealing with. Are the data types and all the formattings in place, and can we get connected, and can we get started on report building? That's the use of preview or the data table view on a layman's term. And here we have the most critical part, which happens to be the data modeling. So here you can already see Power BI was, sharp enough to actually build a relationship between all the tables here. So let me uh, scroll down a little bit so that minimize the screen and see the actual tables. So you might wonder, why are we not following the actual star schema that we had a look at in the Excel workbook? So we might have to change a little bit. I'll explain you why are we doing this. So we have about 1, 2, 3, 4 dimension tables, and one of them is not connected yet. We can actually connect it. It will take a little time, not a big deal about it. So far, so good. Now, the only table that is not connected to our fact table is the calendar table. So in that scenario, you can see the top 3 small dots over here, right? So let me expand this. Yeah, these are the ones. You can click on more options, and here you can click on the option which says manage relationships. And here you want to build a new relationship, right? And now, from which table do you want to build a relationship? I want to build from calendar to my facts table, which happens to be my shipment table, and on what basis. So I want to mention the primary key of calendar table, which happens to be anything. So I can go with calendar date. And what is the similar date kind of data element which is present in my fact table, which is the shipment date. So there is some similarity based on this particular aspect. You can connect the data, and Power BI is also smart enough to provide you the best suitable cardinality. Cardinality is basically the type of relationship which is one-to-one, one-to-many, many-to-one, or many-to-many. So it suggests me to go with one-to-many, and the filter is single filter, cross filter direction. So I'm happy with what Power BI has suggested me. So I'll just quickly click on save, and my connection will be established as per my requirements. So let's give it a moment. Yeah, it's now saving. And let me check this and close. So let me, yeah. So here, why did we choose this kind of representation when we had an actual star type visualization? Now, the purpose is not just visual, the purpose is also logical. So when you are in real time data modeling, then you must be able to identify which are the fact tables and which are the dimension tables. So if you kind of have this approach in designing your data model, just by looking at the data model, you can quickly identify, okay, this particular thing is separate and all the other tables are getting connected to this one. So in that scenario, you can identify which is a fact table and which is a dimension table. So here in my case, we have 4 dimension tables up top and 1 fact table down in this particular section. Now we have a quick briefing of how exactly he can work on data models and how to establish a new relationship with the dimension tables and the fact tables in your data set, and what is the canvas and what is the panel where you have all the visualizations, and how to navigate through your data and how to preview your data and how to get data from various platforms. We have a comfortable understanding so far, so good. Now we will quickly dive into the report view, and we will try to create some quick visualization, a small visualizations like what is the uh, distribution of products or distribution of categories in terms of sales, in terms of revenue generated, and all those things. And you can also create a quick tabular view where you can identify what products are giving us what amount of sales and all those things, so that we have a brief, quick understanding of how to create an actual visualization, right? So we have two options to create a visualization. Either you can just quickly select one of the visualizations and you have a template ready on your screen. You can resize this based on your requirements. So I'll just resize this in this way. And I'll have a legend. I think I'll go with category and I'll have it in the legend section. And now we have the legend ready for us. Now, what do I want to identify? I want to identify total number of, sales or revenue generated from each category. So automatically you can see Power BI was smart enough to add colors and also add tiles so that I can identify or understand which category. So category C is having about 23% distribution. Category B is having about 26.75 distribution, and category A is having about 49.95 distribution. So this is how you can create a quick visualization. Now let's create a different page, and here you can create any number of pages, or you can use the same page as well. But now we'll create a new page. So I'll go with tabular data. Now what are the elements I want to have here? So I want to have product in columns, and I also want to have the amount of revenue generated by each product, and just drag and drop quickly to this particular area, and I'll have the product related information right here on my screen. Now that we have a quick brief understanding of how to create any of the visualizations, you can also go with line graphs here where you can see month on month revenue growth and all those things. So this is how you use it, but we will be performing all these in real time dashboard. So far, we have a good understanding of the overall overview of Power BI. Now, we dive into the most important part, which is related to data analytics, which is DAX or data analytics expressions. So, coming into DAX, we have a preview of DAX query here from Power BI. So, this is a testing mode one. And apart from that, if you want to insert any data analytics expression, then you have an option here which says quick measure. You can also go with this one, or another shortcut is right here where you can right click on anything and create a new measure. So if I scroll up, so here you have an option which says create new quick measure. So I want to create a quick measure, and here you have a wide variety of options. You also have Copilot suggestions to create a new measure, right? Now, I want to create a new measure here using this particular option, which says quick measure or a new measure. Now, this is the window you will get when you are working on the measure. And this is the area where you will have the measure, right? So let me expand that. So I want to create total revenue generated, right? So you can also call it as total revenue or total amount based on your requirement. Now I will name it as total amount as per my requirement. So why am I going with the simple one? Because we have just made a transition from Excel and SQL. So let us understand the DAX in terms of the books we already have. So we already understand that DAX can be considered as any other aggregate function that we have on the Excel platform. And Power BI also has similar kind of syntax. So here we have let's go with in from the basics. So here we will follow the syntax. So syntax will have the name of the DAX equals to method or equals to function, and the mathematical logical that you are about to write. So these are the three parts of any DAX. So this is the syntax. Now let's start from writing the basic syntax, which is the sum function. I want to find out the total amount of sales driven by each of these products. So I'll write down as sum of shipments table and the amount section. I'll tab it, close the bracket and enter. Now it is creating the DAX for me. Let me scroll back and have this complete view. So here, expand this. You can see in the shipments table, we should be having, I'll declare this commit. I think we created the total amount in this particular table, which is calendar, and we don't need it there. So let's quickly delete this from this model. And just a moment. Yeah, I want to delete this. So I have deleted that. We want to create this in the shipments table. So let me unselect all of those things. And here, let me click on any of the platforms. And now I'll create a new measure and I will deem it as. So here we have created a new measure and currently our measure is empty. So I'll quickly write the name. Total amount is equals to the second part, and the third part is the custom function. And I want to go ahead with the shipments amount. Press tab to select, enter. Now we have created a new measure. So let me expand that again. And you can see on the bottom right corner. So we have created a new measure, which is total amount. And you can see a small calculator logo right there, right? So if you find this logo, it means that it is a customized or a measure that you have created on your own. It is an explicit measure that you created. So here you can see the sum amount, which was implicitly created by Power BI. So this is called the position where Power BI makes some calculations for you is implicit, and the position where you manually create for yourself the customization that you apply on mathematical formulas that require that suit your requirement are called as the explicit calculations or explicit measures. Now what we can do is quickly drag and drop this explicit measure onto the tabular window that we created here, so that we will understand why did we create this particular explicit measure. Now you can see on the bottom section we have the same basic numbers, right? So here we have about 4 million. Yeah, I think it's 4 million, right? Yeah, we have about 44 million revenue generated on both the ends. But why did we go ahead with this particular aspect? So there are a lot of reasons why we go ahead with DAX. Basically, you have a lot of freedom when you're working with DAX, right? Now, if I go ahead with customization, here you have formatting option where I can go ahead and directly deem it as currency, and you will have dollars logo added right on your uh, customized DAX function here. And not just that, we have a lot of other uh, benefits of using DAX, and you can also go through them once again. Repeat. And you can also go through them in the upcoming DAX that we will be creating. Now, we have this DAX available here on the data window, but do we have this on the table view? No. On the table view, you will never see your customized DAX because it acts as a layer on top of your data table, and it will just be function for your analytics only, but it will not mess up with your actual data table. Now going back to the report view, now let's try to create a small visualization to understand why did we need this. So let me go to visualizations and a new page. Let me go with the trusted column. And here we will try to drag and drop the product details. I'll go with PID and draw it to x-axis, and I will add total amount to y-axis. Now here we have a quick visualization of the products that we sold. Now if I dedicatedly select a specific product ID, and if I click on any of the geographics here, it will automatically give me the related information to that particular geographic alone. It will not proceed with any other things. So this kind of customization is available when you go ahead with the custom calculations or DAX. Now you can say this is also done using filters, but filters and slicers in Power BI or Tableau act as switch on and switch off. So when you kind of want to hard code everything into a slicer, it is not possible. But it is possible when you are working with tax calculations. Now, you can also go ahead with a few other tax calculations in this particular segment. Let's go with total boxes. I'll create a new custom calculation. I will just right click anywhere here and create a new measure, and it should be popped up right here. And I want to calculate total boxes is equals to sum of shipments boxes. Enter. So I have total boxes right here and shipments table. Now what you can do is you can drag and drop total boxes to this particular data table, and you will identify how many number of boxes are we using to pack these products. You can quickly organize them, and you can see how many number of boxes are we using to pack these products. So from a business perspective, you might be having a question: how much are we investing in packing the products? How much of the loss are we facing in just packing the product, right? So that make a little business sense when you're dealing with packaging and exporting the products. And apart from that, you can also identify number of boxes per shipment, right? So basically what we're trying to do is you're trying to reuse the existing DAX functionalities. So here we can just right click again and create a new measure. Click anything and right click, create a new measure, and it will pop up here, and you can name it as boxes per shipment. And what you can do is quickly uh, use a total amount. When you just open the syntax with a square bracket, automatically you can see the DAX which we already created pop up here. So the formula could be total boxes divided by shipment count divided by shipment. Uh, I think we missed a formula, but not a problem. For now, we can keep it as measure, or I'll reject or cancel this particular measure. Now, you might be wondering if we have the same functionalities in Excel and Power BI as well. Repeat. And Power BI, repeat. Let's consider that you have same kind of syntax in both Excel and Power BI. So far, we have created one or two measures, right? So you might be wondering if I have same kind of syntax, but it is a little different. The syntax might be similar, but it has a lot of advanced features to it. For example, you might have never seen some functions called count rows, right? So it's like you will be having the same name format, naming conventions, but the functionality could be a lot more advanced and different. For example, let us try to create a new function which or a measure which says shipment count which is equals to count function or count rows function. Basically, it counts the number of rows of all the shipments. Rows function, and there you go. Now you have a new measure which says shipment count, and we never had this. So if we drag and drop this particular measure, let me select that and drag and drop to this particular table, you can automatically see how many number of shipments did we make for these products. So it can identify and it can filter out for number of product for these many shipment counts per ton. So this is done based on something called as evaluation context. So it will automatically go in the background, evaluate the product, it will identify and it will count number of rows where this particular product was repeated, and it will count the iterations or repetitions of that particular product, and we will have the product count right here. So this is all done based on the fact or the background process, which is called as evaluation context in real time. Now let me expand this particular table a little bit more and make some space. And let us try to recreate that particular instance where we try to reuse the DAX function. So this is basically done so that you understand DAX is not just one time do and done. You can also reuse them in your requirements as per the business rules on your organization. Now let's try to find out boxes per shipment, which is equals to, if you open with square brackets, you will have the DAX which we already created. So total boxes divided by shipment count. There you go. And you have finished a new measure. You can also have this particular calculation here. And you will now have, okay, I didn't want a visualization. So I can drag and drop this boxes per shipment and onto the table. And now you will have a brief picture where you will identify how many number of boxes that you are using to pack a single product and ship them. And based on the output or based on the report, you can see either to change the packaging format so that you save a little more on boxing and packaging, or if it is good enough, or if you want to improvise and you have some window to invest a little more to make your packaging a little more sensitive and acceptable, right? Now, we will also go through another calculation or tax method, which is most important, and it could be a game changer in real time, which is the calculate function. So let's say we want to identify the performance evaluation of the employees that you have in your organization. Let's say every employee is generating some number of revenue and you have a target for them. Let's say 1.5 million dollars or something like that per year or something, right? And if you want to check if all the employees are meeting the target or not. So let's go ahead with that use case. So you can quickly do that. And you can also include some conditional DAX as well for that. Now let's do a quick measure. I'll create a new measure and I will name it as sales target. And it will be 1.5 million. This would be my target. And here we have the sales target. Now we will have a condition measure which says performance. And we will also include the condition which says if condition. If the total amount, which is a tax function, is greater than sales target, which is also a tax function that we already created, then write it as target achieved. ACHI. And if not, target not achieved. And close the bracket, and your function is ready here. Now what you can do is you can create a table and you can drag and drop your employees SPID, which is right here. And you can also have total amount and the performance right here. And you can see if I expand this particular table, you can find out which employees are achieving the targets and which are not. And here you have it in one single page. So here you can see Abigail Moore is not achieving the target, and Michael Johnson has achieved the target, and Emily Davis has achieved, right? So in real time, this could be a really functional achievement for you in terms of data analytics. Now that we have a quick understanding of all the fundamentals and overview of tags, we will now deep dive into creating an actual dashboard. So you can quickly close this or create a new window altogether. I will go with a blank report. And don't worry, this particular page of tags will be saved and this dashboard will be shared with you. You can have a quick access to all these formulations and you can also follow up with us. So I'll cancel this and we have a completely new dashboard here. So now we are on the blank report. So we will import data from Excel. So these are the Excel data sets. So I'll relocate this to this particular location. And we have the data analytics presets. Let me cancel this quickly. We are actually focusing on data Power Query so that, okay, this is something which we don't need. And let me quickly check if this is uncleaned data or not so that we can perform some Power Query operations. Yes, this is not cleaned data. Great. So we are all good to go. Don't save any changes. And I'll also close this one. And our data file is completely ready. Now I'll also do another thing. What I can do is these are the same data elements, correct? So let me create a new file. So why am I creating a new file is we discussed uh, a use case where we thought of having data sets added periodically, right? Now let's start with 1 year's data. So we just have about 2021 data and it is completely unclean. So we already have all the data corrections that we need to do on this data. We want to proceed with date, data type, and this you have a lot of mathematical symbols in this particular phone number, and customer name is not sorted according to our requirements, and we don't have the cost column here, right? So there are a lot of mathematical calculations which we need to do and a lot of data cleaning which we need to do. So for now, we will be continuing just with one file, which is right here. And then we will create a business use case where we will have to add data periodically. So we will be adding from 2022, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So let's see what happens if we just work on one data set and if we have new data, will it work or not? So what we are trying to do is we will apply some data steps, cleaning and formatting all those things and using just one file. And then we will save those steps. And whenever you add new data, Power BI will create an automation where you don't have to create any new steps or cleaning operations on your own. It will create it by itself and you are just ready to build your dashboard. So that's the overall approach. You will find it a little more understandable when we are on the go. So this is the file location that I'm going to give to my Power BI window. Now import data from file. Go to more options. And here we have a folder option, connect. So the path you can browse, it's in downloads and the file name was Power BI Was it data Power BI? Yeah, this is the PBI dataset, and that's my location. Click on OK, and here we have the data. Now we will go into transform option. So here we have the transform option. You can click on the expand function here. It will give you a quick preview. This is the sheet that we are going to work on. And if you are okay with it, you click on OK, and you will have the Power BI Power Query window open for you momentarily. Yeah, this is the one. Now we have sales 2021. This is the file name. We don't need this one. And on the right hand side, just let me quickly expand this and show you, or I think you can see it, right? So here you have the applied steps section where all the steps that you are going to follow are recorded. Now I don't want this first column. I'll remove this. And the next one is the order date related information where the data type is not as per the expectations. So we're going to change this to data type. And once we are comfortable with that, we will be going to the next columns. And here we have the customer related information. We need to expand that, and we will split it by the limiter, just like we did in Excel. So we will split this. Now this will act as customer ID, and this will act as customer first name, and this will act as customer last name. Once we are done with it, next phase is the last one. Here we have a phone number. So we will replace some values plus with nothing, and another one, or we can undo that step. So we wanted to replace +1, and that's gone. And the other one is replace hyphen, and you have a proper phone number. And this should be in text so that we can run some text related functions, text matching functions. And then here we have to add a new column. So select this one and add a new column, which will be a custom column. And the custom column will be cost, price, and we will be dragging and dropping revenue minus profit. This will be the formula. Press OK, and there you go. And now we will be converting revenue, profit, and cost price to currency. Go to home here, and we will have it somewhere here. Or I think it's good to go as it is. Now, so I'm happy with my transformations. Now, what I'll do is quickly close and apply. So far, so good. So we will have the data loaded shortly. So here we have the PBI dataset that we were transforming. Now we will quickly go through the table view and see our data once more. And here we have the cleaned data. And now we can start off with analytics. Now here we will change some canvas settings. So I'll have an image that I have created recently. So it's somewhere in the downloads, and this was the one. Open, and we will have it shortly. Fit and done. Now we will add the platform. So price category. Yeah, here's the platform. Now for that we want a slicer. So we'll drag and drop back onto this particular section. And now we have all the required options of Facebook, Instagram, and the other ones. We also want a search icon for this. And if you don't want, you can just undo that. Now we want to do some visualization settings. So I don't want slicer header because I've already added that. And I'm going to slicer options. I don't want vertical list. I want a drop down. So this is good enough. And apart from that, values are good. I don't want any background. General looks off the background. There you go. Now we will place it somewhere here. Make it fit into the window. There you go. Now you can select anything from here, Facebook, Snapchat, and all those things that we have, the platforms that we have on our dashboard. Now we can quickly copy and paste it and move this to state, and we will make some changes. Instead of platform, we will be selecting the state region, and the slicer is ready. Now all these settings that we did will be replicated here, but only thing is we will have states here in place of platforms. Similarly, you can quickly copy and paste that to here as well. Now we might have to make some changes. So we have here. So unselect state and go to order date, and we need to expand it and go to date hierarchy, unselect everything, and instead of quarter month, we will just select year here. So for now, we will be having just 2021. Now, so far so good. Now we'll just copy paste this one to the last section, which is month. So instead of year, we will be selecting month. Now we will be having all the months of the year. There you go. So far so good. Now we have all these slices of the, the filters that we wanted for our dashboard. Now we will add some cards. So here we have the card option. So here, there you go. Now I want the total traffic count. So I'll go to the traffic related data. And here we just need to drag and drop this particular element to traffic. And a card is successfully created. Now going back to the same general settings, I want the layout and general. I don't want the header icon. I don't want the background. And I want it to be completely transparent. And remove the label. Good. Now we can save it in the traffic section. And similarly, we can copy and paste this. to leads, to orders, to revenue, and quantity. There you go. Now instead of traffic, we will select quantity, and instead of revenue, done. And instead of this one, we will select orders, and instead of this one, we will select the number of leads. There you go. So the first top section is totally done for us so far. Now we will do some other type of charts here. So I'll go with region-wise sales. So here we will have region-wise sales. I'll drag and drop the amount or the revenue to legend and the. So I want this to be here, and the legend will be having the region section right here. No, I don't want. There you go. Now I can replicate this. And here you can change some values. So instead of region, I want category. So we have category somewhere here. Add it to the legend. And I want the visualization to be donut. Now I want the product level sales. So I want to go with a column graph for this one. And I want products in place of category. There you go. And I'll unselect category. Now we will have subcategory sales. And we'll have a graph for that. Instead of product, I will select the subcategory. There you go. Now we have geographical location. So I'll do the same. Now we can just click on a filled map and we have it there. And then drag and drop location of the revenue to the legend and states to the location. And we have the sales details right here. And now the last graph will be a line graph, which will show me the revenue here on here. So I'll add order date to x-axis. So it's showing me currently all the details. So I don't want all the details. I'll go with year, or we can test it with month. Then we can change it to year. So this is the month-on-month sales. Now, so far so good. You can have the publish icon here and publish this particular dashboard. Now what we will do is we will don't do anything. We'll just go back to our Excel and we will drag and drop our existing datasets which we left out into the PBI dataset. There you go. Now we updated the location. All you need to do is just refresh. Once you refresh, all the data will be loaded and all this dashboard will be automatically updated and you'll have the new numbers. There you go. Now, instead of month, I will select year. So you have year on year sales, right? So it's completely interactive and you can select for one specific platform and you'll have the results for that particular platform alone. And if you select WhatsApp, then you'll have the results for WhatsApp. And similarly, everything else, right? So that's how you build a dashboard in Power BI. And now we can quickly switch to Tableau. Now that was the Power BI for us for data analytics, and this will be saved and shared with you. And we will now switch to Power BI quickly. EBI basics. Save. This will also be saved as DA basics. Hi. This will also be shared with you. And now we will quickly make a transition to Tableau. So since we have already created all the required data sets for us and we already have this data ready for us, what we can do is quickly access. It could take a minute, just DA book. So we can use this particular data set which was already cleaned and the same data we can create some dashboards on Tableau. There you go. We will just copy this. Yeah, consolidate data. We will copy this and create a new file and name it as Tableau. And this particular data set will also be attached in the description and you can use this to follow along with me. Now we will load the data, Microsoft Excel, and we will go into Tableau data and this will be our workbook. So similar to data modeling in Power BI, you can also create relationships in Tableau as well. So this is the place where you can create relationships. All you need to do is just drag and drop. And here is the tabular view, which will give you the quick preview of the dataset that you're working with. And this will be the fields. These are the tables which you have. And in case if you had a different dataset, let's say just like Power BI, we will have 5 different tables here and we need to establish a connection there. Now that we have a brief understanding of how to do data modeling in Power BI and it is also similar to Tableau, we will quickly dive into the dashboard here to save time. Now let's go into the first sheet here. Just click on the sheet and here instead of the right hand side view, you have the left hand side view of all the dimension and measures. So the first section is called the dimension section. So Tableau is smart enough to identify which is what. So all the text information or all the geographical location information or whichever it considered as could be a dimension. It has moved that to dimension. And here we have the numerical values, which is the leads, profit, quantity and everything else. This directly counted it as measures and it has set it apart. And here you have a show me icon. If you click on that, you have a lot of visualizations which are readily available for you. You can just drag and drop them and create the visualization that you're looking for. And here we have the filters pane where you can add the filters or slices based on your requirement. Now we will name this sheet as region wise sales. And now what you can do is quickly drag and drop regions to rows and sales, and revenue to columns, and you have the required visualization ready for you. You can also go ahead with the type of chart you want to go ahead with. I would like to choose with the pie chart, and there you go. And you are ready with that. And I'd like to now go with a map chart. So I'll select the state to rows and the revenue to columns. Or I think I was supposed to do the other way around. There you go. And you can click on map chart for that, and you will generate map representation of that. And now I'll name it as, I think you need to add revenue once again, drag and drop. Mhm. Now I'll name it as state-wise sales, and you can create a new, okay, I didn't want to create a dashboard right away. You just have to create new worksheet. Now I want to check platform-wise sales or platform-wise leads we are generating. So here we have it, and I want to go ahead with this particular type of graph. Platform-wise distribution, and you can also add a tooltip. So I can add this to tools tips, and I'll have the label. There you go. And you can also add subcategory or category-wise details as well. Subcategory to rows and revenue generated by each category. So we have a wide variety of categories here. So based on that, you can create the report. And if you wanted to create it upside down, like columns, you can also do that. And if you want to provide a separate color to each of the category, you can add category to a separate color, and you can also add tooltips. So I think revenue to, so there you go. So you have a beautiful representation. You can name it as subcategory distribution or brand level distribution. Then and then you can create a line graph where you can add the order date to rows, and you can add leads to columns, or traffic. Let's go with traffic. So how's the traffic performance year on year? You have a line graph for that. So it's the other way around, and here you have the line graph. Or you can also deep dive, and you can have month on month, quarter on quarter, and week on week as well. So based on that, you can go ahead with this. So I'd just like to have the year on year here. So I'll remove this. I'll keep it just here. There you go. So Y on Y traffic. Or you can, instead of traffic, you can choose to have a revenue. So you can see how the revenue is going on. Now in the sheet 6, you can take states to rows, and you can have revenue and create a tree map So instead of states, you can go ahead with category. So we have category somewhere here. And revenue numbers here. You have successfully created a tree map. So you can also add revenue to the label, and you'll have the labels here. So how many number of sales are happening in a category level. So you can name it as category level distribution or category distribution. Right? Now you can quickly jump into the dashboard, which looks something like this. So here you have all the sheets that you have created right away, and you can just simply drag and drop and you'll have everything functional. So before that, you can also select the device preview you want. You can go with default, you can go with the phone or generic desktop layout. And this is the desktop layout. Or you can close it. Now you can just drag and drop the sheets that you have recently created, and it will automatically select the layout which is suitable for it. Now you can also customize this particular width. You can increase the width, which can be suitable for your screen. This should be good enough. Now, continuing with the sheets, you can add platform level details here, brand level distribution here, category level distribution here. Now, the year-on-year growth. So now you have everything in one place, and all the filters are available here as well. So whenever you click Facebook, so you'll have the sales related data to Facebook. And if you want a brand level data, you have the brand level data. And if you want regional level data as well, you have the regional data here in one place, and it is completely interactive as per your requirement. And you can term this dashboard as sales report, and you can have a presentation view here. So you have a quick presentation view, and you can present this data to your clients. Now we can exit the presentation view. And with that, we have come to an end of this session on data analytics basics for beginners. And with that, we have reached to the end of this session on Data Analytics course for beginners. Should you need any assistance and any other resources used in this session like PPT, code documentation, dashboard, etc., then please feel free to let us know in the comment section below, and our team of experts will be happy to assist you as soon as possible. Until next time, thank you for watching and stay tuned for more from Simply Learn.